When we were talking before the show, you told me a very distressing story. You had just spoken to a middle school, I think, and tell our audience what was going on here.
So we had about 800 children that are 12 and 13, so various developmental stages in that, but about 30% of them were involved in what is called sexting. And that is sending either verbal text messages that are sexually explicit or pictures of themselves. And what happened was that there's an SRO, or a safety resource officer, on campus, and they started to pull these kids in to interview them and let them know that they'd been identified as some of these kids. Out of those 30%, most of them, I think that they said about 95%, said they didn't want their parents to find out. Don't tell them. The SRO said, well, you are allowed to have your parents there, and you're allowed to have somebody here for you. And they said, no, I'll just tell you, my friendly officer. And so they told them all the details that they were doing, and quite frankly, those legally what happened was that they were given their juvenile Miranda rights, and then those children were written up for all of those incidences on that police report. And so about half of them were arrested at that point.
Was that
12 and 13 years old.
Was that here in California?
That was in Arizona. California actually has more strict laws than we do in Arizona. So with their misdemeanors in Arizona, in California it would have been a felony. And as a felony, they would have been, because it's child pornography, they would have been arrested, and then they would have been charged as child pornography, even teen to teen pictures exchanged. Doesn't mean an adult's involved. And then that in turn would require them to be registered as sexual offenders for the rest of their life, meaning on applications to jobs and colleges for the rest of their life that they would have to register.
So what we're talking about here is not only the physical and mental consequences of overuse of technology, but now we're talking about legal ramifications that will follow a child for the rest of their life.
Right, and the stigma and the emotional hurt and all of those things that come with that is actually like a ripple that goes through society, because we all feel it then.
Listen, I'm the last guy to want any additional laws, but if I'm understanding you correctly, and you're saying that these kids are sexting back and forth, they get busted, and then of course they don't want their parents to know. Of course. But now they're signing a junior Miranda rights. I mean, that's...
A lot of controversy in the field on that, but it is legal for the schools and for them to do it.